Hello, everyone. We are case study group number 5, and we're reporting on an article about the trends of O2O commerce through bilingual text mining on social media. First off, what is O2O commerce? It stands for online to offline commerce. It's a business strategy that aims to draw online customers to offline stores. So this can take multiple forms. It could be an online purchase that you can pick up in store. It could be brand loyalty bonuses that come with creating online accounts. They give you benefits in store like sales or discounts. It can also be the placement of online orders at a physical store, so it can work both ways, from offline to online and online to offline. And another common practice is the ability to return an online purchase in a store. So it allows for the online world to sort of merge and interact with the offline world. It's really useful for retail businesses. So why is it important? Recently, there has been a rise in e-commerce that has driven the majority of sales online for a lot of companies. This, in addition to large overhead costs for physical locations that include rent, insurance, utilities, and any other costs you could think of with running a business. These two in combination with each other have made it hard for physical locations to stay open. Another very interesting fact is that studies have shown that up to 87% of shoppers will research their products online before going to make a purchase. So it's important to intervene at this stage so you can create your own narrative as a business and drive those online shoppers to actually fulfill and make a purchase. This O2O commerce business strategy allows the online and offline channels to complement each other rather than working against each other. So they can feed customers from one channel to the other and vice versa. This strategy also encourages social interaction and word of mouth marketing. So people who have these in-person physical experiences can then recommend it to others and hopefully lead to more sales. Social media is the biggest public medium for social interaction between people, between businesses and people, businesses and other businesses. So it's really important to use social media when partaking in O2O marketing and business strategy. A few of these tactics and a few of these benefits of O2O in social media are brand loyalty programs, increasing your brand awareness, maximizing the interaction between your company and the people you're serving, and collecting better data. This way you can sort of chart the path of a consumer from the Google search all the way to the purchase in your store. And all of this leads to increased sales and revenue for a lot of companies. So it's very important using social media to market your company. This particular paper aims to answer a few research questions. These are, what are the trends in O2O commerce through the lens of social media? How does the development of O2O practices differ in different language regions? So how do O2O strategies change depending on what area of the world you're in? And what are the similarities and differences between English tweets and Chinese tweets when relating to O2O terms?
Cool. So I'll be explaining the methodology followed for in this research paper. So first, the authors start with the text mining, which is required for the online to offline uh, method. Then they move to the data selection and cleaning. Then post which I'll be taking us through what the text parsing process is, and finally, what are all the steps involved in the text filtering in this particular research paper. So let's move on to the next slide, where I'll be explaining the introduction for text mining, what was used in this particular paper. So basically, in today's world, we know that social media has become an integral part of our life, and it's not just for socializing anymore. So e-commerce companies are finding a great value in real-time and important characteristics of social media, such as Twitter, which can provide them with valuable insights into their customers and potentially new ones. So in this research paper, the authors adopted a text mining approach to understand the trend of O2O development. So which is nothing but the online to offline development. So here we can say that text mining is an extension of the data mining techniques which are currently in use that relies on feature-based representations of documents such as words, concepts, characters, and terms. So this is a very effective technique which is used to extract business value from a vast amount of social media data which is available. And this helps companies understand how to perform competitive analysis and transform data into knowledge for decision makers. So, according to a global social media trends 20 report which was generated in 2015, so Twitter was one of the world's most popular social media tools, and hence the authors of this research paper selected it as their main source. So the text data mining involves basically five steps. So one, the data selection, then two, the data cleaning, text parsing, text filtering, and finally the interpreting the results. So we'll move on to the next slide where I'll be explaining the data selection. So as previously discussed, Twitter was chosen as the main platform for collecting the data. So the data selection process involves selecting relevant data needed for the execution of a defined text mining tasks. So the authors collected relevant Chinese and English tweets since this was aimed to be bilingual. So they collected a total of close to 20,000 English tweets and close to 17,000 Chinese tweets. So the data was collected from January 1st of 2014 to December 31st. So we'll move on to data cleaning. So there was one particular thing which was highlighted by the authors. So basically, in this study, the authors found that the concept of O2O had a different meaning in English tweets, as it is also the abbreviation for one-to-one network, a social network marketing company. So individual bloggers who are working with the one-to-one network posted comments on albums, music on their personal blogs and forwarded the comments to Twitter tweets with hashtag O2O. So to avoid this bias, that in the further data analysis stream, the authors decided to delete the tweets related to the hashtag one-to-one networks. So after the data treatment, there were like close to 16,000 English tweets and close to 14,000 Chinese tweets. So moving further, we'll discuss about the text parsing. So text parsing is basically a process which is an essential step in the field of NLP that involves breaking down text into smaller, meaningful components to analyze and understand its structure and meaning. So this process is particularly useful in sentiment analysis, where it helps to identify the most relevant terms and phrases in a document, which can be used to gauge the overall sentiment and emotions of the text. So to achieve this, a text parsing process was applied to identify unique terms and phrases, which were eventually used to create term by document matrix. So in this matrix, each entry represented the number of times a term appeared in a document, again, which is very crucial in determining its relevance and importance. So moving on, to ensure the accuracy of the text parsing process, a customized list of stop words were prepared and employed to identify the presence of terms with a low frequency and irrelevant terms, which are uh, chopped out of this entire corpus. So there were certain issues uh, which came up with parsing Chinese text. So authors followed a novel approach for parsing Chinese text. So we can see that unlike the English language, the Chinese words do not have delimiters such as white spaces, which makes it difficult to identify like certain individual words. So the Chinese language requires a different approach to text parsing. So the most significant problem related to Chinese word segmentation for sentiment analysis is its low accuracy. So this is because the syntax and segmentation of Chinese word are different from the English words. To address this issue, synonyms were set in advance of passing the words to obtain a more accurate understanding and develop a clear association between words after passing. So, furthermore, only nouns and proper nouns and their abbreviations were retained, while verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and other parts of speech were ignored. So, this helped to remove the noise and develop correlation between the remaining words after passing. So, finally, we move on to the next step after uh, after text passing, which is nothing but the text filtering process. So, in this text filtering process, words that were not found in the dictionary were considered to be either slang or abbreviations. For example, if a tweet contained the words you and good, which are not found in the dictionary, they would be replaced with their expanded forms, such as YOU and GWOD. So these were like you would say like expanding short forms into like their actual forms of the verbs. So the next step is to apply lemmatization. So in which words were stemmed. For example, happiness was stemmed to happy, and so on. So in addition, in this step, the presence of URLs were also identified using regular expression, and they were also trimmed out of these words. So finally, I would like to explain another concept called the concept linkage, which is explained in the next slide. So in concept linkage is nothing but the process of discovering how concepts or key information are associated or linked with each other by looking at a large corpus of text documents. So basically, it's a technique used to connect related data or documents by identifying their commonly shared concepts based on their co-occurrence or closeness within the documents. So this identification of links between concept helps user to make informed decisions or generate hypotheses. So concept linkage can also indicate the relative strength of association between terms, which can be considered specific and primary keywords. So the most relevant words and terms can be explored, and the strength of the association between terms can be calculated using the formula as seen here. So yeah, so in summary, concept linkage is a valuable tool for identifying relationships between concepts and data. So this enables user to make certain informed decisions, as we saw earlier. Yeah.
Um, so as the results, talking about the results, first let's get to know what is bilingual text mining. So bilingual text mining is, as you can see in the images, one is in English tweets and other one is Chinese tweets. In common, bilingual text mining is a process of applying text mining techniques to analyze and extract information from document written in two different languages. It involves identifying and processing text data in multiple languages and using tools and algorithms to extract relevant information from both languages. So bilingual text mining can be used to various applications and like sentimental analysis, social media analysis, etc. Um, the main process of bilingual text mining involves a lot of steps, as Akhilesh explained previously. And going to the next slide, mining results from English tweets. As we know, mining English tweets are different from mining Chinese tweets. In this article, the result of mining English tweets using the keyword O2O. Um, so this image shows that the association between the keywords like China, Asia, service, e-commerce, Meituan, and lot others like Baidu. This article also discusses the linking diagram of these keywords and analyzing the tweets related to these keywords in both English and Chinese. Moving on to the next slide. Um, in terms of Chinese tweets, there were a lot of words that are categorized to specific categories. For example, Baidu and Tencent belong to keywords companies. Headlines and Sina.com belongs to news media. Mode and retail belong to mode. E-commerce and platform belong to set of keywords related to platform. In common, Baidu is an search engine which is developed and used in China. There are a lot of other stuffs like Baidu Search, Baidu Map, and etc. Other apps as well. Tencent is it's like they have a chat interface platform, like WhatsApp. They have WeChat, and so which is why these two are grouped together as companies. And Headlines and Sina.com, talking about that, Sina.com is an online media enterprises which serves only in China, and it also has websites called Sina.com and others as well. And talking about the mode and retail, the tweet shows Baidu intends to build its own O2O ecosystem, which is an e-commerce retail system. And in addition, some tweets also indicates that Tencent also built an O2O ecosystem, and which is why they are grouped together. And considering terms e-commerce and platform, these are categorized as platforms, which are the some stuffs associated to Tencent. For example, e-commerce site created by Tencent and Baidu sites created by Baidu. And moving on to the next slide, it shows the a linkage diagram of Chinese and associated English words. English tweets focus on innovative startups, whereas Chinese tweets focus on traditional companies. This is a major difference between the English tweets and the Chinese tweet. And also, as Akhilesh mentioned, there are no delimiters for Chinese data, so which makes it harder to identify the words and their meanings. So yeah, moving on to conclusion will be continued by Rujula.
Yeah. So, by social media, the trend analysis based on social media enables a business to gain potential business advantages by analyzing the publicly available social media data of a business and its competitors. Now, by comparing the business and competitor social media data, we can gain possible perspectives on their performance, and any company can use this comparison results to identify their weaknesses, discover new opportunities, and tweak their social media strategy. The text mining technique here, why are we using text mining technique? Because it is a primary tool in the trend analysis, and it allows the analysis of large amounts of complex textual data from social media. Here, as the social media has become prevalent, analyzing the textual data from outside the organization is becoming increasingly more important for business, and it is expected to provide richer analysis and better support for decision makers. Moving on to the next slide. In this particular paper, they've attempted to create a bilingual social media mining approach to deal with information from multiple languages. Here, one of the major mining results from English tweets is that many keywords in China and other Asian countries are related to O2O commerce. It implies that O2O commerce in Asian countries, including China, South Korea, etc., is of interest to English-speaking Twitter users. And the main other takeaway of the Chinese tweets here that is that the Chinese speakers prefer to talk about topics related to auto e-commerce in China only. And hence we can say that their findings can assist businesses in understanding the various trends of O2O markets and providing different content or strategies for different language users. Here we can understand how the Asian O2O markets can provide good amount of strategies to enhance their markets related to O2O commerce. And moving on to the next slide, here we can see the limitations that are that they're only using Twitter data, and further it can be multiple social media platforms can be used in order to analyze semantically about the people's the subjects emotional perspectives of the subject. So thank you.